Welcome to Conversations with Cox and Kielseth, and to be more specific, that is filmmaker Alex Cox and myself, film curator Pablo Kielseth. Alex will join us by phone from his home in Oregon, while I sneak away from my office to call him from one of the projection booths used by the International Film Series, which has been screening foreign and independent movies at CU Boulder since 1941. We will keep our chats to about 20 minutes as we discuss whatever movie-related topics grab our fancy. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, action. Alex, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Excellent.
Excellent.
And yourself?
I am. About to get better here. I got a Fremont Dark Star Imperial Oatmeal Stout that I'm going to pour into a goblet so that I can wet my whistle while I talk with you.
That sounds very nice. I should have brought down. I've got a caldera here, a caldera Opportunity Docks in a frosty glass. But I also have an old Rasputin Imperial Stout up at the house. So I think later in the evening,
nice.
That awaits me too. So cheers.
Cheers to you. I'm hoisting my goblet to you, sir. And I'm so glad that you were interested in watching and actually nudged me on a title that will be available for listeners to watch from the internationalfilmseries.com website. As of Friday, it is the latest film from a very interesting director who should be familiar to IFS customers, Hubert Sauper. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. He also did Darwin's Nightmare, which was, I think that film really, it's very haunting. It's a very haunting documentary. And he also did We Come as Friends, which some kind of think of as a companion piece to Darwin's Nightmare. And the fascinating thing about We Come as Friends is that the director built and piloted an ultralight tin can of an airplane that he named Sputnik, and that he designed specifically to get to these remote areas. And he's definitely he's a one-man band. And so
he designed and built his own airplane.
Yes, that's right.
Wow,
yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
But it's an ultralight one, and so he would need help every now and then to kind of get it out of the mud and stuff like that. So EPICENTRO is the latest documentary by Hubert, and I screened it at Sundance, and now people who are listening, if they'd like, they will be able to screen it as of this Friday, as I said, from our website. And you had a chance to preview a link, and I'm very curious what you thought of it.
Well, I liked it. I mean, it was very, it's very positive and charming. What's not to like about these charming little Cuban girls, and yet it's also about more than that, and more than just the propaganda and the waves of the Malecón, and it gets into an interesting discussion of tourism and the nature of tourism. And there's like an appalling photographer who's giving out pens to little children, and then the mere presence of this really unpleasant character then questions the position of the documentary filmmaker, and then they go to Hemingway's house, and then there's a guy with a beard, who turns out to be a Cuban who's very, very suspicious of the whole tourism project, and says you can't base a society you can't base an economy on tourism, but then later on he's like riding around in the convertible. And I think that was an interesting, the whole discussion of tourism, the types of tourism and the advantage that's taken by tourism and of prostitution. It's interesting and very well done. But I think the guy's argument is, I hope the guy's argument is wrong, because if you think about Oregon, Oregon is basically a tourist destination. That's what we hope to make make the economy thrive off of, apart from rioting, but that's Portland. Everywhere else is tourism,
Yeah.
So I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. I mean, because it's dealing with some issues that are interesting, and I thought, I mean, again, a little bit long, but the second half it's really worth watching all the way through, because the second half it really gets going and has a great ending shot, doesn't it? Or not really the ending shot. The ending shot is the drama teacher, but it's before that, the guy with the cigar just goes and stands in the water, and then one of the waves breaks at the purest of sunset. A giant wave breaks behind him, and it's terribly beautiful.
Yeah, for those who might still want to know a little bit more about the film, on IMDb it gives a very quick one-liner that says it's a film about the butterfly effect on geopolitics, the paradox of time, the almost end of the world, and the cinematograph, and sex and sugar. So that's a little bit, more of a trim sort of some of it. But as I mentioned, he there's something about him, the Hubert, that reminds me a little bit of Chris Marker, in which that he does have, I think, he tends to marry poetic images with sort of ethnographic tourism. And of course, as you said, he really thinks deeply about his own role in that aspect. But yeah, I find his approach is meditative and humanistic, and I do appreciate that.
Yeah, it's very positive and very nice, and it was a most enjoyable film to watch. So, yeah, I liked it,
and I
recommend it to all IFS viewers.
2 thumbs up from Alex.
EPICENTro.
It's interesting because EPICENTRO, as we mentioned, that's basically, it takes place. It's in Cuba, and then there's another documentary that can be seen right now. It's already been on for a few days, but it's going to play for another week. And I did want to give it a plug here, and it's for COUP 53, which is a documentary that I missed at the Telluride Film Festival last year. And sadly, of course, there won't be a Telluride Film Festival this year.
And it's about the coup in Iran.
That's right. And it was produced and edited by Walter Murch. And you can see him at his famous standing desk editing. And it was kind of interesting because you can see around the walls and sort of get a sense for how he puts things together. But this COUP 53 is it got a New York Times pick, and it really does. I think they mentioned in the review that it moves along at a real clip, and almost like a spy thriller, because it's dealing, of course, with CIA, all kinds of CIA
destabilization of a foreign power, of a foreign government, and the overthrow of it, and the installation of a king, and the English and the Americans behind the whole scam. So but did you like the film?
I think there's so many parts of it that were fascinating. Not least of which is that as our intrepid protagonist is diving through all this information, at one point he gets led into this room where he's able to go through piles of documents that have been made available thanks to the Freedom of Information Act. And there's all these other boxes in the background, and they are all labeled for, different things. Just all kinds of atrocities have been committed throughout the world. And I just thought, wow, that must be one of the most interesting rooms in the world that you could choose to spend a lot of time in.
Good. Well, I will look out for it too. It's still playing this week, right?
Yeah, I think that one's got oftentimes some of these titles they'll let us just leave them on for maybe even up to a month, but I think that this one does have an end date, and it might only be available for another week. Maybe we can change that. But if anyone's listening and they don't want to miss out, I would urge them to
watch COUP 53.
Put it to the front of the queue. There was also at one point they're interviewing a British person, and this is back in the early 50s, and he's being kicked out or something, and he introduces a word that he says called it a debortal, which was, I had to kind of Google that up, but it's an inside joke among British workers at the oil refinery that was about to get nationalized, where they make fun of the people who are not British, who were screwing up the word debacle, of course. But it's the whole thing was one big debacle, whatever you want to call it. And it's got a lot of details about how the stuff went down. And it's also interesting because it shows how even in the creation of other documentaries, a lot of very important information that got filmed then got edited out. So this is very much a documentary that goes into the crimes of omission as well as the crimes of commission.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah. So we got there's those are the two docs that we're sort of highlighting today, but I did want to let folks know that there's actually going to be quite a few things dropping on Friday, and there's still a bunch of titles that got added last week. Oh, and I should also plug the fact that we have Alex's double feature.
Straight to Hell and El Patriero. And Straight to Hell
returns. And if there's anyone listening to this, I am giving away some codes. So if you wanted to watch this double feature on a first come first served basis, yes, that's right. Drop me a line. Drop me and Alex a line. We'll give you a couple codes, and we'll set you up with the double feature. So.
And never be rich.
Well, I don't think that's
you don't think that's on the cards?
I don't think it's in the cards. No, I was thinking about the world and how it does seem like you have there's like the money worshippers, and then there's the rest of us, and I do feel that on that seesaw, the rest of us should be able to outweigh the very few who are the money worshippers, but it doesn't appear that way when you look at the world, does it?
Well, it's still different factions, isn't it, as usual, because there's money worshippers, but there's art worshippers, there's religion worshippers, there's science worshippers, there's authority worshippers. There's so many different cults, and you and I fall into the art worshipper cult, I think.
Oh, I was going to say you were a dog. I thought you were a dog worshiper.
Oh, the dog worshiper. Yeah, that's true. I'm an art whisperer and a dog worshiper. That's true. So I'm kind of a...
I am but a humble servant to the cats that run the house. So gotta keep the bowls full of their food and water.
Yep,
that's the main thing. That's my goal. All right.
That's a worthy goal. So nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you, sir. And hopefully I'll get back from my a little weekend getaway that I'm doing this Labor Day weekend.
You're going mountain biking. You're going biking.
That's right. Gonna hit the hills, do a little exercising, which I haven't done in 4 months, so I feel I need it.
Excellent. All right,
I will check in with you next week.
Good. Safe travels.
All right. Gracias, senor. Talk to you later.
Ciao.
And cut. Okay, that's a wrap.
Thanks again for joining Alex Cox and myself today. I'd like to thank Jason Phelps for handling the audio and Ted Thacker for letting us use the intro to his song, The Ballad of Slim Cessna, for the musical cues that bookend these conversations.